Yeah, no big deal. Just full throttle sexual content in front of kids, stuff like this. Yeah, what child shouldn't be looking at that when they're 7 years old, 5 years old? Big old fake whatever hanging off of a man. That's healthy stuff. This is what kids need to see. You know, this woman doesn't believe anything she's saying, but there are requirements for a DSA endorsement, and she had to meet them as this movement continues to grow, gain power, and more importantly, win huge primaries like the Senate primary in Florida last night. Take a listen to this from CNN.
You might just say, oh, this is just a phenomenon in the Northeast. This is part of the Acela corridor. This is just an urban phenomenon. No, not really. I mean, take a look here. Where DSA candidates won primaries for Congress, they're all Democrats. Yeah, you got 3 in New York, but you got 2 in Michigan. You got 1 in Colorado. You got 1 in Florida last night running for the Senate. And you got 1 in Pennsylvania. So this is not just a Northeast phenomenon.
It's not just a Northeast phenomenon. It's a terrifying one. Equally as scary, though, the real motives of the people, the candidates that DSA is pushing. Right now, polling claims that Abdul El-Sayed is leading the Republican Mike Rogers in the state of Michigan. Those primaries are over. They're waiting for November. And new documents now reveal El-Sayed's mother worked for a designated terror group that provided support to Osama bin Laden, the Taliban, and Hamas. This is just the latest that we've gotten out of this candidate. This group gave bin Laden hundreds of thousands of dollars 2 years before 9/11. His mom worked for that group. We learned this just weeks after a Senate hearing that dug into El-Sayed's father-in-law, his wife's father, and his deep connections to another terror group, the Muslim Brotherhood.
Does Abdul El-Sayed's candidacy for senator in Michigan concern you?
Yes, sir, it does.
Why is that?
Well, to begin with, I look at the connections that his father-in-law, Chakaku Tayyib, has to Brotherhood-linked groups. This includes being the president at one time of CARE Michigan, also his presence on the Islamic Society of North America Founders Committee. There are other known Brotherhood members on that committee. El-Sayed's ties to a group called Mgage, which purports to be a Muslim sort of get out the vote, but it has close ties to CARE. It was created by a former CARE member who at one time was on a terror watch list.
How many different connections can one candidate named Abdul El-Sayed have to terrorism? How many different ways can they show us who they are? What on earth are we doing in this country? Can the American left possibly have this much compassion and desire for candidates that not only hate the country, but appear to be deeply supportive of terror attacks against it? Is that possible? This is what they want in the U.S. Senate, the state of Michigan? What level of white guilt would that be? Can we even measure white guilt at that level? And it's all being propped up in this crazy moment by a movement that is made up of spoiled, indoctrinated kids, which is what DSA is. The people taking over are lunatic kids. It was just revealed the co-chair of the New York chapter of the Democrats Socialists of America, DSA, resides himself in a spacious $1.5 million townhouse in Brooklyn that his mommy and daddy bought for him. A gut-renovated townhouse. It was bought, fully gutted before he could move in because he doesn't want to deal with the drab, 1940s interiors, right? And then given to little Gustavo Cordillo here so that he can cosplay as a communist while immersed in all the spoils of capitalism in the main hub of worldwide capitalism, New York City. Cordillo's parents came here from Peru. He's Peruvian. Parents came here from there and found the American dream. They live in a $3 million home in Florida and clearly are terrible at raising their children. Yes, that's the people that are pushing all this. That's the people bringing us this DSA nightmare. And back to last night's primaries, there at least was one bright spot, and that was the story of Alexander Vindman, the corrupt Ukrainian-American army officer who blew the whistle on Trump's phone call with Ukraine's President Zelensky. He was the one destroyed last night after outspending Angie Nixon, his opponent, by about 6-1. He got killed, spending her to death, and he couldn't even get close to her. A reminder, Vindman claimed that Trump was corrupt in trying to steal the the 2020 election when he asked Zelensky in Ukraine to look into Joe and Hunter Biden's obvious corruption in his own country. Trump was impeached for this, and then later, years later, vindicated when we all learned the incredible extent of the Biden corruption machine, and also that Biden was being protected by our own Department of Justice that wanted him to be the president in 2020. And because of that, Trump had really no other option but to ask another country where the Bidens were doing business to look into him, because his DOJ was trying to oust him from power and put Joe Biden in. Vindicated. Vindman was the beginning, the impetus of all that. Clearly a Ukraine loyalist, he was as obnoxious as they come.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.